This podcast is a member of the New York City Podcast Network at nycpodcastnetwork.com. Visit us to listen to over 250 amazing podcasts just like this one.
Japanese street style is some of the cutest and trendiest clothing in the world. Introducing Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing and Accessories, the hottest original and cute clothing company. We offer tops, clothes, accessories, shoes, dresses and skirts, and comfortable homeware that we guarantee you will love. Cherry Goddess Women's Clothing, super cute Japanese style clothing.
This is Black Wall Street Chronicles, and we're back at it again. As you can hear from my trailer, I've finally signed on to Anchor.com. I originally had Buzzsprout, and it really wasn't working for me. I already have 2 supporters. I would like to thank Aaron L. Smith for giving me a $10 support to my podcast. And I'd like to give myself a shout out because I also put down the $10 support to my podcast. Now, being that I am on Anchor.com, I can get supporters. So, if you like my podcast and you want to support it, you can do a monthly support of $1, $5, or $10 a month towards my podcast. I would greatly appreciate it, and thank you very much. Now, before I get to the main topic of this podcast, this episode is going to be called Age of Consent because last week there was some situations where a great R&B singer and actor by the name of Marques Houston is 38 years old and he's marrying somebody that's 19. And you have a pretty good comedian by the name of Chris Distilla. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correct. But this man has been accused of sending creepy text messages to barely legal teenagers. So it's a lot to unwrap today. I'm currently in New York City, and phase 2 of the reopening of New York City, the state of New York has actually started. I see many people in the streets running to the barbershop to actually get a haircut. Because a lot of us in the city of New York is looking like Wolfman out here. You know, in a couple of days, I'm going to need to get a haircut because I'm out here looking like a damn werewolf, and that's not good. So, anyway. Now, before I get to the main topic, I want to talk about what's going on in pop culture, right? I am a gamer. I do that as a hobby because I believe hobbies is good so you can have balance in your life. Now, I recently purchased The Last of Us 2. It was on June 19th. It came out the same day as Juneteenth, which is interesting. So, there is a lot of backlash for the hardcore fans of... Excuse the phone in the background. I'm very sorry. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second, guys. How long is this person going to be on the phone for? Goddamn. Like, it sucks because the minute that you start doing a podcast, everybody want to get in contact with you. Anyway, excuse the interruption. So basically, the fandom of Last of Us 2 was actually very angry. And I'm in the middle of the game. I haven't completely finished it yet, and I understand why they're angry, right? See, what's going on in the entertainment industry is they keep doing these things when they keep making... Let me tell you something. If you're going to do a sequel and you're going to do a remake, you have to have respect for the source material, okay? That's a problem that's going on in Hollywood. Like, they treat the main protagonist of the story the same way they treat Luke Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 8. Like, what is going on? You know, the original Last of Us, the original game, is actually considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time when it comes to storytelling. I don't really want to get into the story, but you can actually, even if you're not into video games, you can actually read the story trope on wikipedia.com, and it's actually very good. It's so good that, you know, it could be on the television show and the movie, right? But that's the thing that's going on in pop culture. It's like we're getting really tiring, you know. If you're going to create a new video game and you want to put your own agenda into the video game or to the television show or the movie, what you need to do is just create new material, create new stories. It has to be original stories, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it irks me. You know, Last of Us 2 is looking like a good game, like the graphics and the way the game is structured, and I love how the female character that was in the first game is evolved as a fighter and as a survivalist in the dystopian future that is set in the Last of Us mythos. It's actually very good. I like it. It's just that they don't have respect for the original material, and that's not good. They did that in the Resident Evil 3 remake too, and yeah, I just wanted to go in a quick rant about that. And, you know, it's a good game and all. It's just, you know, it's underwhelming and very bleak and depressing. Anyway, enough about gaming, enough about pop culture. Let's get into the topic. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm going to read this article from the Chicago Tribune. It says here, comedian Chris D'Illa denies allegations of sexual assault. Hold on, I got all these pop-ups just coming out of nowhere. Chris D'Illa denies allegation of sexually harassing teenagers. Comedian Chris D'Illa has denied claims of sexual misconduct. D'Illa's name has began trending on social media on Tuesday night after multiple women accused him of trying to engage him with them sexually. Somewhere as young as 16 at the time of the alleged encounters, many of the women accused him of sending inappropriate messages to them and attempted to solicit nude photos from them. Twitter account She Rates Dogs maintain a running thread of many of the allegations. I know I've said and done things that have may offended people throughout my career, but I have never knowingly pursued any underage woman at any point, D'Illa said in a statement on Wednesday to TMZ. All of my relationships have been both legal and consensual, and I have never or met and engaged any inappropriate photos with the people who have also tweeted about me. That being said, I am truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in my lifestyle. That's my fault. I own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I promise I will continue to do better. D'Illa is probably known for his stand-up comedy, but he has also had a number of on-screen roles. He started an NBC sitcom Undateable when he ran for 3 seasons. He also recorded in season 1 of the hit series The Good Doctor. He will appear in the upcoming Zack Snyder Netflix film Army of the Dead, which is currently in post-production. He recently starred in season 2 of You on Netflix, playing a comedian who sexually abuses teenage girls. He has also had a guest role in the Comedy Central series Workaholics, portraying a pedophile who pursued young boys. That's interesting. He's playing all these pederast and pedophile roles, and he's sexually harassing teenagers. Now that right there is art imitating life. Nah, that's not funny. That's not funny. We should not laugh at that. Now I'm gonna read an article from TMZ. Alright. Krista Ella denies knowingly texting minors, response to anonymous claims. Krista Ella is breaking his silence after multiple anonymous claims from a woman accusing the comedian of getting flirty with women who are allegedly underage after all these pop-ups on TMZ. God damn. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Krista Silla is breaking his silence after multiple anonymous online claims from a woman accusing the comedian of getting flirty with women who were allegedly underage at the time. The comedian tells TMZ, "I know I have said and done things that might have offended people during my career, but I have never knowingly pursued any underage women at any point." Chris goes on to say, "All my relationships have both been legal and consensual, and I have never met or exchanged any inappropriate photos with the people who have tweeted about me." He finished by saying, "That being said, I'm truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in a lifestyle. That's my fault. I own it. I've been reflecting on this for some time now, and I'll promise I'll do it better." Here's tweets that they have. "I still can't believe Netflix got Krista Zilla as the pedophile in season 2 of You, like the literal irony." And they show him a picture of him getting owned by a 16-year-old. Chris started trending on Twitter Tuesday night after a woman named Simone Rossi started a thread showing alleged text emails between her and Chris from a few years ago, when she said she was only 16. Several other anonymous allegations follow Rossi's post from women claiming allegedly Chris had solicited photos or sex from them. While most claimed that they were younger than Illa, some like Rossi claimed that they were underage. None of the anonymous allegations mention anything about police reports filed or legal action taken against Chris. Yeah. I need to read these text messages. Text messages. Let's see. No, let me check. Let's see. 5 women share their stories. Okay. One morning in the fall of her senior year of high school, Julia Holtzman awoke to find that Krista Illa had sent her a direct message on Instagram. The 17-year-old was confused. She was not a fan of Thin's 36-year-old stand-up comic and was not following his page. But she saw that Drusilla had a verified social media account and was intrigued. So she responded to him asking how he found her. "Just came across, is that bad?" he said in the November 2016 exchange. "It was clear I was in high school. I had a 16th birthday with photos of me at football games on my Instagram." Holtzman, now 20, told The Times, "I told my guy friends about it. They were like, he's famous. You have to answer." The Illa proceeded to give Holtzman a phone number, which public records link to his name and suggest that she traveled from Long Island to New York City to come see him. She never went, but she saved screenshots of their correspondence for years. This week, she stared him publicly for the first time on Twitter, where multiple young women have come forward in recent days to allege that Drusilla was sexually inappropriate with him. The avalanche of screenshots, many of which revealed to be the same telephone number and email address as Illa, began flooding Twitter on Tuesday night. Simone Rossi, another high school student who said she had a virtual relationship with D'Illa, was the first to share how he allegedly asked her to make out and send him pictures of herself when she was underage. Within hours, Rose's story began to trend on social media. Michaela Oakland, who runs the popular Twitter account She Rates Dogs, said she received hundreds of messages from women with stories about D'Illa, some who had claimed they had negative encounters with him, some who knew other women who allegedly had. Oakland shared many of these stories. Most of them were anonymous in a thread that went viral. By Wednesday, the claims have proliferated to such an extent that Cecilia 40, whose latest stand-up special No Pain debuted on Netflix in April, issued a statement to TMZ. In it, he said he had never knowingly pursued any underage women and that all of his relations have been legal and consensual. That being said, I'm truly sorry, the 40-year-old continued. I was a dumb guy, absolutely let myself get caught up in a lifestyle. In the interviews with The Times, Holtzman and 4 other women told stories of aggressive, sexually charged overtures initiated by D'Illa, who is known to many young fans as Justin Bieber's favorite comedian and has 2.4 million Instagram followers. All of the women, 2 of whom were not yet 18 when their communications with him began, described a flirtatious demeanor that escalated almost instantaneously. But in one case, he allegedly invited 2 female fans to his hotel room, where he exposed his erect penis to them in an attempt to convince them to sleep with him. In another, he allegedly told a 19-year-old that he would meet up with her only after she performed oral sex on one of his friends. D'Illa declined to be interviewed for this article. A legal representative, Andrew Berger of Lavie and Signer, directed The Times to the comedian's Wednesday statement. Also, D'Illa's statement earlier this week and found it disappointing and misleading, she said. She recently begun to reflect on the teenage encounters with a comment after seeing him on the second season Netflix show You, which was released in late 2019. On the program, D'Illa plays a stand-up comedian who grooms underage women, then drugs and sexually assaults them. The role marked the second time he'd been cast in such a part. In 2011, on the Comedy Central program Rockaholics, he guest starred as a child molester. I really couldn't believe they cast him as a pedophile, said Rosie. For me, it was like, why is these shows casting him as this person? Sarah Gamble, the showrunner of You, declined to comment for this article, as did production company Warner Horizon Television on Netflix. D'Illa's 3 comedy specials in You remain on the streaming platform, which will release a Zack Snyder film, Army of the Dead, following the actors next year. Kyle Newcheck, one of the creators of Workaholics, who wrote the How to Friend a Predator episode in which D'Illa appeared, did not respond to a request for a comment. But a spokesperson for Comedy Central said the episode had been pulled off all platforms. The series is available on Hulu and Amazon. His 2013 special, White Male, Black Comic, is also no longer available through Comedy Central. Rosie began corresponding with D'Illa after she made a public comment about him on Twitter in 2014. She said, which led him to offering her email address via direct message. I was excited that he started messaging me, Rosie, now 22, recalled. I was obsessed with celebrities and always wanted to be on E! News. I wanted to brag about it to my friends, but it took me years to understand that it was predatory. According to their email exchanges, which Rossi provided to The Times, D'Illa expressed dismay when he learned that she did not live in Los Angeles. How are we supposed to make it out then? How are we supposed to make out then? He wrote to her in July 2014. He then requested Rossi send him pictures of herself. She responded with an image in which she was smiling in a pool and another of a fluffy panda. Haha, the fucking panda dick, he replied. I joked and told him that they were exotic. Rossi said, I thought I was being witty because I wasn't blind to what he was doing. He was preying on the fact I was underage, I was insecure, I wanted attention. I'd follow him because I saw him at Comedy Central Justin Bieber roast, and it took me a long time to piece together that what he did was wrong. 6 months after she sent him the photos, Rossi said, the Illa reached out to her again in 2015 when he was performing in her home state, Arizona. He said he wanted to hang again, asking, can we make out, and requesting her Instagram handle. She provided a username to her page, on which she had recently posted a photo of herself posing with large wooden cutouts of the numbers 1 and 6 to commemorate her 16th birthday. She never heard from him again. She was very casually told me that Chris D'Silla asked her for news to ask her Rosie. I was disgusted. I was incredibly proud how she handled him, and I'm proud for her a year later for sharing her story. If this had to happen, she's on the right side of the fence trying to pull a woman like her up and be a shepherd. Holtzman, like Rossi, never ended up meeting D'Silla in person, but her mother, like Rossi, was horrified by her communication with the older man. I said, immediately block him. You're not going to the city. This is creepy, recounted Terry Holtzman, Julia's mom. As a parent, you have to intervene. It automatically set up red flags. It's like, he's an old guy. What does he want with you? It was extremely inappropriate. She was still in high school. I guess that didn't stop him. In the comedy world, some high-profile performers had made allusions to D'Silla's popularity with underage followers, and on their podcast, The King and the Sting. Dio Von and Brenda Shaw joked about Chris D'Elia's cult of female fans. This is not going to end well, said Vaughn, said in 2019. With everyone drinking Kool-Aid except Chris, drop ended and everyone dies. Well, a lot of the people are going to be drinking the Kool-Aid because they are underage girls, probably, Vaughn replied. That's what I'm guessing is in their natural diet pattern. D'Illa, whose latest stand-up special, No Pain, debuted in Netflix in April, is the son of Judge and Amy co-creator Bill D'Illa. He began working the stand-up scene when he was 25. His first major acting role was opposite Whitney Cummings on the 2011 NBC sitcom Whitney, and he later starred on the network show Undateable. He has 2 previous Netflix specials, as one as the one on Comedy Central. In 2017, he began hosting the podcast Congratulations with Chris D'Silla, on which he referred to his fans as babies. One of the fans was Jackie Cohen, the UCLA student who first started talking to D'Illa when he responded to a picture of her on Snapchat, she said. Their conversation moved to a text message. He wrote to her from the same number he used to correspond with Holtzman, and it was immediately sexual. Cohen shared screenshots of their exchanges with the Times. Hey, he said in his first June 2017 message. What you up to, Cohen responded. You want to suck my cock? He replied. My God, this is a creep. Oh God, this motherfucker's a creep. Let me read this shit again. Hey, he said in just June 2017 message. Hey, what you up to, Cohen responded. You want to suck my cock? He replied. The 19-year-old told 37-year-old she would give him oral sex, telling him she was looking for nothing more than fun and would be gone with no strings after potential. How badly do you want to hang out with me? Pretty badly. You're real cute. We get along. We don't have to go out. But he keep wanting me to prove myself before we can hang out. With months of on and off messaging, D'Illa wrote to her out of the blue in August. I want you to suck my friend today. Would you go do that for me? Soon after, she said she began video calls from an older man who identified himself as Chris D'Silla's best friend. He told me, Chris just wants to make sure you're real. I want nothing, I promise. Chris is making it out to be more what it is, Cohen of the conversation. He kept asking for my address so we can meet up. I can be approved to meet Chris. But I wouldn't tell him where I live. I only told him I live in Encino. Later that night, she said she received anger from D'Silla, inquired why she has not met his friend. My buddy drove to you. What the F? Says screenshot of the text. Jerry Cohen, Jackie's brother, told the Times he was sitting with her while the exchange was happening and was creeped out finding D'Silla's request hilariously pathetic. Chris never had any consent to promise my body to anyone, added Jackie Torn, now 24. I didn't deserve to be treated that way. I never disrespected him. The Illa apparently had a pattern quickly taking his relationships with fans to a sexual place. After a 2015 performance in Nyack, New York, Laura Ricciarelli and then 18, a female friend who was then 20, approached Distilla after he said to request photographs with him. He obliged and then invited the pair a party at his New York City hotel, they said. Ricciarelli's friend spoke with the Times but asked that her name was not to be used due to vitriol she has received on Twitter. They have made hour-long drive, but when they arrive at Distilla's room, they were surprised to find him alone. We looked at each other low-key because no one was there, said Ricciarelli. There was shrimp scampi on the counter and he was watching cops. There was no sign of the party, but I was so naive and excited to be there that I didn't really see an issue. Before they could enter the room, Ricciarelli's friend said Distilla told the woman he needed to take care of their cell phones and leave them in a basket. I would assume something that anybody with any level of fame did, the friend said. I think he told us that it was for privacy reasons. They said that Distilla offered them alcoholic drinks. He alone maintained he does not consume alcohol and sat between them on the couch. He began complimenting them and groping their buttocks, they alleged. Growing increasingly uncomfortable, the friends stole awkward glances at each other. I didn't know where his hands was going to go, Vitrelli said. We realized no one else was coming. He wasn't drinking. He was just saying she and I could drink. So we ended up getting up to leave. They started to gather their things, both women said, and he pulled down his sweatpants, pulled out a red penis. Are you sure about that? They grabbed their phones and exited the room, later telling a male friend who had attended the show with them about the encounter. The friend confirmed this with the Times. On the drive home, we kept trying to figure out if we'd done something wrong, giving them the wrong impression, said Vitrelli. After I shared the story on Twitter this week, I almost started crying because it was so nice to feel supported by random people agreeing that the situation was wrong. Now I know I wasn't being crazy and insensitive. I knew it was wrong. Okay, this article's by Amy Kaufman. And she covers film, celebrity, and pop culture in the Los Angeles Times. This is actually, gotta give Amy Kaufman much credit because this is actually on the Los Angeles Times because this is actually a more informed article. Okay, this guy is a freaking creep. Shit. What can I say about that? Yeah. Let's go to the Marques Houston story about Marques Houston marrying somebody that's 19 years his senior or something. Somebody is 19 years younger than him. Let's see. What can I say about that, and then I'll give my opinion. Okay. Marques. Okay, Marques Houston. There we go. Marques Houston defends engagement to 19-year-old. Yeah, I remember he was on Sister Sister with Tia and Tamara Mowry. This is from Page 6, an article called Page 6. Yeah, so Sister Sister actor Marques Houston defends engagement to 19-year-old by Alex Heige. She's a beautiful young woman. Wow, she's very attractive. Sister Sister actor R&B singer Marques Houston is defending his relationship with 19-year-old fiancée Maya Dickey following a discussion of the pair on Twitter. I needed to speak because this is not music or television. This is my family, my future wife, and my life, Houston 38 explained. I met Maya in 2018 through a mutual friend. Never before did I even know she existed. Myra, who Houston allegedly started dating in October 2018, proposed to in March 2019, apparently met her betrothed at a Jehovah's Witness convention, having struck up a friendship with the daughter of Houston's manager, Chris Stokes. Maya and Stokes are close enough that she calls him Dad. Maya and I didn't start dating till she was adult, Houston said. We fell in love and got engaged in March of 2019. My dad, Michael, loves her, and the people I'm closest to her love her as well. Most importantly, we have Jehovah's blessing. Oh boy, this shit sounds like grooming, man. Houston makes references to the blog that was published about my fiance and without naming a specific outlet. The pair's relationship began getting renewed attention on Twitter this week. In a post on MTO News alleged that Myra is in fact a runaway who has been on the missing teens list since she was 15. Oh God. Further fuel for speculation is that Mayana Dickey is listed as an art director for multiple Houston Stokes projects on the Internet Movie Database, which Houston described as a misprint of someone being messy in the Instagram scheme. Twitter has also dredged up allegations of sexual abuse made by former B2K member Rise B against Stokes in Houston, corroborated by neighbor Quentin Tarver in 2010. Rise published a phone call between himself and Tarver, which they both detailed the alleged abuse they faced at the hands of the two men. Oh man, I heard about that. I forgot about the Chris Stokes rumors. Yeah, that right there. Apparently she's a registered runaway, allegedly. That right there is suspect. This shit sounds like grooming, y'all. Here's what grooming is. Grooming is when a man or a woman, right, who's older, is when an older man or a woman gets into an interesting relationship with a 16-year-old in the intent of having sex with them when they get consented, when they get age of consent. And that's called grooming. And this accusation that Marques Houston is going through sounds just like Chris D'Elia, where you have these grown men that is grooming young women. And which basically leads me to my opinion. Let me tell you something. When a woman becomes 18 years old, she has the right to vote, she has the right to drive, and she has the right to die in a war. So if she wants to get into a relationship with a man 20 years older than her, that's her business, and I really don't have anything to say about that. However, I would never date somebody that under the age like that. I am 36 years old, right? And the reason why I don't want to do that, because when I was 18 and I was broke and did not have any money, I didn't like the fact that these older men had an advantage over me when they was already established. See, we also have to talk about hypergamy, how women are naturally attracted to men who are of higher status. And these older men, the reason why they date these one younger women, because they have a car, they have a house, they already established, and they can barter the things that they have to use it to get these young women. And the man that are 18 years old is not able to compete. You have a financial and psychological advantage over these women, and it's actually not fair to the men that are 18 years old. But that's the main reason I'll never do that. Like, if I see a beautiful young woman and she's like 19 years old, what I'm going to attempt to do is try to get her in a relationship with a member of my family that's the same age. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be a matchmaker for that. I'm not going to try to holler at her or anything. You know? And this is actually prevalent in the African American community. I did an episode, what episode is it? Let me go back to my archives. Yeah, so, let me go back. during the holiday season, there was this Honduran girl in the Bronx, right? And I believe the episode is called, is episode 20, The Honduran Girl Who Cried Wolf, right? Now, there was one young lady in the Bronx, 16 years old, that faked a kidnapping. She had her 25-year-old boyfriend fake the kidnapping because she did not want to go back to Honduras. Now, it was discovered to be a hoax, but the question I was asking into this episode, what's up with the man? Where is he? He's obviously grooming this young lady to have he's obviously is having a statutory relationship with this young woman, this young teenage girl, and causing her to be completely rebellious towards her mother. Why isn't this man in jail? And that's what I thought about that. And if you want to listen to this episode, you can go back to my archives, the Black Wall Street Chronicles, episode 20, and the episode is called The Honduran Girl Who Cried Wolf, right? So basically that's my opinion on this matter. And again, if you like the podcast and you want to make a donation, you can. You can either donate $1 a month, $5 a month, and $10 a month. And if you can donate $10 a month, that could be appreciated. Also, I am going to sign my podcast to IMBD. That is basically a website that's dedicated into actors' credits and basically content of movies, televisions, and celebrities, right? And also, if you go and you look at my podcast on anchor.com, they also have my links. You can actually go to my YouTube page and you can subscribe if you go to my Anchor, right? You go to anchor.com, you can type in my YouTube page, you can click on it, and you can subscribe for more content. You can also subscribe to my Twitter account, and you can also subscribe to my Facebook account. And thank you very much. You have a pleasant day, and stay safe during COVID-19. God bless you. Bye-bye.